Okay, this is where it gets down to the nitty-gritty. This is where we talk about results. Are we getting where we want to be? You see, this whole carnivore diet is far more than just a diet. The reason we've adopted a proper human diet in the first place is that we want to improve our overall health and our well-being. So how are we doing? We need to be able to measure it. It's far more than just about weight. Weight is usually the thing that we're concerned most about, and I have to confess that's what I was concerned about. But I soon had a different picture because I wanted to look not just at my weight, I wanted to look at things like exercise, like mental health, my sleep pattern, spirituality, relationships, education, learning as much as I could about health and about nutrition and the things that have become really important to me. You see, what we've got to do, folks, is we've got to shake off that old Doris Day mentality. Whatever will be, will be. The future's not ours to seize. Que sera, sera. You know, for so long, I have had that approach to my health. You know, it's all a chance random process. But now I've started at the age of 68 this week to make changes, to take responsibility for myself, to say that nobody else is coming to save me, as it were. I've got to stand up. I've got to take responsibility. I've got to do something about my own situation. My doctor's not going to do it. My wife's not going to do it. My kids are not going to do it. I've got to take responsibility for me. It's true with the whole of life, isn't it? We have to be responsible for ourselves. So we are looking for results, you know. They used to say when I was in my working years, what gets measured gets done. And it's pretty much true with health. We need to be able to have some things that we can measure. Now, fortunately, with our health, there is a lot of things that we can measure, all sorts of numbers. And no doubt if you've looked over your blood tests and that, you'll be bamboozled with columns and columns of numbers and wondering what it all means. So I wanted to share with you today my own results because I started Carnivore 3 months ago. And at the beginning when I started, I told myself, I told my family and friends, this is an experiment. I'm going to do this for 3 months because I'm curious to see what will happen. I'd heard so many great stories, but I wanted to see for myself, does this really work and will it make a difference to my health, my weight and my general overall well-being? Now, when it comes to anything like this, you've got to have a starting point, and I started with a matrix that has become fairly common today in looking at metabolic health. And if you look anywhere on the internet, you'll see these 5 markers of metabolic health. Now, these were written quite extensively about by Dr. Philip Ovadia in his great little book, Stay Off My Operating Table. I've got to say that is a fantastic book. It's easy to read, it's big print, which is good for old people like me, and it's simple to understand, and it is very compelling. But I was looking at Philip Ovadia, and he mentioned these 5 markers of metabolic health, and each of these markers, I'll show them to you in a moment, are used to determine your risk of things like diabetes, cancer, cardiovascular disease, stroke, dementia. I mean, these are all biggies, aren't they, in the health world? And here are the 5 markers. I'll put them up now. Now, 5 of these you can measure at home. 2 of them you're going to need a doctor for. But really, when you reduce it down to 5, it's quite simple. Here are the five markers. You need a waist measurement of less than 101 centimetres. Now I'm quoting the Australian metric figures. I've got the other figures in green. And but I'm just going to, for the sake of convenience for myself, just stay with the Australian figures. Now, 40-inch waistline, 101 centimeters. It's a little bit less for ladies, I think, than men. You want a fasting blood glucose, that's the sugar content, the glucose content in your blood, of less than 5.5 or 100 mg/dL. And then you need blood pressure no higher than 130 over 85. HDL, which the doctor will tell you is good cholesterol. Not quite sure where that good and bad ever came from with cholesterol, but you need a figure of more than 1.03 or 40 mg/dL. And then the last one, the fifth one, triglycerides, hope I've spelt that right, of less than 1.69 for myself, or 150 mg/dL. Now, as I say, I'm using the Australian figures for the sake of simplicity. So this is where this is what I started with. I wanted to measure these 5 things. So before I started the diet, I got the measuring tape out. I got the blood glucose monitor out, and I started to measure things, and then I went and got a blood test so that I'd have all of the numbers complete. I wanted to know where I was starting from and where I was going and how I was going to get there. So where was I starting from? Here on this slide you will see where I was starting from, and it's not real pretty. This is just 3 months ago, folks. My waist measurement was 113 centimeters. I failed on waist measurement. My fasting blood glucose was a whopping 10.5, meant to be 5.5. Big number, failed on that one. My blood pressure, 130 over 85, mine was 179 over 90 on average. That was an average reading, taking it various times during the day. Way too high. HDL, you want a number more than 1.03, and this is where I had a small bit of a win when I started, because I did pass this one. Mine was 1.2, so that was my first tick. And then triglycerides, you want a number less than 1.69, and mine was a whopping 2.3, so that was a huge fail. For me, blood pressure was the big one, because I knew that I had high blood pressure because my doctor had told me, and I had actually been on blood pressure tablets for a full 12 months. And each time I would go back to the doctor, I'd have to report the tablets have made no impact at all on my blood pressure. And so what did the doctor do? Simply increase the dose. And when the increased dosage didn't work, well, then I was given a second tablet to take. But look, it didn't matter what tablets I took, my blood pressure remained high. Tablets were not going to fix it. I was also overweight. I weighed at the time 92 kilos. What's that, about 204 pounds? And I had a couple of other conditions that I was aware of. For about 2 years, I've had plantar fasciitis in my left foot that caused me great pain, particularly in the mornings, and was quite debilitating at times. And sometimes it got a little bit better, and then it would get worse again. But that was another thing I'd struggled with. I also had, for some time now, arthritis in my fingers, and I would wake up in the morning particularly and notice that my fingers, the joints in my fingers, are really sore, and I'd have to sort of work my fingers to get them going in the morning and to shake off that pain. So I was aware of that. I also had some sinus congestion, particularly at nights in bed. Every time I would get into bed, I just couldn't breathe through my nose, and so I would use nose sprays, and I did that for about 35 years. That had been an ongoing problem. So that's a sort of a brief sketch of where I started from just 3 months ago. That was my starting point. So now I want to wind the clock forward till just a fortnight ago, when I had a new lot of blood tests made at the end of my 3-month experience, because I wanted to see what changes had been made. So I'll put this slide up. This is my results as they were and as they are at the end of the 3-month period. So my waist measurement had been reduced from 113 down to 96 centimetres. What's that? About 17 centimetres less around my waist. So I dropped actually 3 jean sizes. Which is frustrating because you've got to go and buy new jeans. But it's a good problem to have, isn't it? My fasting blood glucose dropped from 10.5 down to 5.3. Another big win, almost half. My blood pressure, here we go, because this was my major problem. 179.90. Down to 125.75. So what happened there was I started into Carnivore, and within 2 weeks, just 2 weeks on Carnivore, my blood pressure dropped dramatically. Now this is after a year of taking tablets, and I was still taking the tablets because I wasn't going to go off those without checking with my doctor. But the doctor did say, if you get down to a proper level, then you can stop taking the tablets. So I stopped taking the tablets after 2 weeks on Carnivore, and I have maintained that low blood pressure. And for that, I just say, wow, I am wrapped with that. That's a big win. My HDL, I'd already just scraped a past in that, but it improved even more from 1.2 up to 1.4. And my triglycerides was another big change, was 2.3, and then my finishing figure was 0.9. So again, a big drop. Now there is a table, a formula that you can do where they compare your triglycerides as a percentage of your HDL, and when I did that little division, it came out in the safe level. So look, I was really happy. I think that's pretty good. On top of that, I lost my waist measurement, but I also lost kilos. I lost 13 kilos in weight, about 28 pounds, I think. My plantar fasciitis in my foot, I'd have to say, I'd love to tell you it's all gone. It's not, but I'd say it's 90% gone. And just in the last few weeks, I've been doing 10-kilometre walks. There was no way known I could walk 10 kilometres for the last couple of years with the pain in my feet. But, I'd say 90% gone, and I continue to notice it less and less. My fingers, there they are on screen. My fingers, the pain is gone. Now, whether the arthritis is gone, you can see there's still a bit of swelling in the joints, but the pain is gone. Now that's big because the pain was quite severe. And then finally my sinuses, I've stopped using nose sprays, and I get into bed at night and I can breathe through my nose, and I'm sleeping better than I ever did. I used to average 6 hours sleep a night. Now I'm averaging 8 hours sleep a night. So I am really, really happy with that. So I'd have to say that I've lost weight, sure, that's what everybody wants to do, and that's what I was wanting to do. But it's far more than just your weight. Even in the weeks that I was not losing weight, and there were plateaus in there, my waist measurement was still reducing, and I was doing some exercise. I was lifting weights and doing some aerobic exercise, and so all of these things have to be factored in. Now, I want to finish up and just say I am really happy with the result of my 3-month experiment. I don't think as my stage in life and my background and my areas of expertise, I could never win a debate against somebody who wanted to debate the carnivore diet. I could certainly never write a paper that would be suitable for publishing in any medical journal. But what I can tell you, folks, is that it just works. It just works. I don't know how or why or all of that. All I can tell you is that it just works. I had a 20% pass rate, and now I'm 100% pass rate. Now, what's even more exciting is that Dr. Ovadia in his book says that only 16% of adults my age can pass with 100% on that exam. So I'm one of 16%. So I've got a little bit of reason to rejoice today. Now, am I going back? What's happening now? The 3 month is up. My experiment is complete. What am I going to do? Give up and go back to how I was? Absolutely no way. I am going on. I am pressing on. I've got more weight to lose. I want to get healthier and fitter. I'm 68. I want the rest of my life, whatever years I have left, not to be filled with doctor's appointments and tests and medical appointments and hospital visits. I want to be free from that. I want to enjoy my life. I want to live it to the full, and that's what I'm aiming for. So I am going on.